Hi guys, just a few notes on Mars entering Cancer from the 15th May to the 1st of July. And yes, at the moment, actually, before when it is in Gemini, it's in a very interesting opposition to Jupiter. And yes, I'd like to say a couple of things about this. There is a tug of war for those people that don't quite understand who they are. There is a very interesting disconnection and disassociation for some. There is perhaps nightmares, fears, lust, nervousness coming to the surface for those people that don't quite yet know how to take it further. Do not quite, because you don't need to take it further. You are who you are. So the most beautiful, perfect time here is to realize if you can't take it further, while Mars is in Gemini before the 15th of May, if you don't really quite know what it all means, if you kind of don't really understand how to work this out, if you don't really know if it can't be yet, just sit there and just enjoy what you do have and what you can actually truly perfect. Perfection. So Gemini Mars for now, perfection, and be perfect for you. So Mars enters Cancer. Before Mars enters Cancer, please suggest to yourself what are the greatest feelings, the greatest yearnings, the greatest sort of freaky temptations and also disassociations that you have. Put it down on paper. What do you worry about? Have you got any kind of greed or like a need to know? Have you got a paranoia? Have you got a constant habit that perhaps is coming from like a nervous background? So like biting your nails or sucking your thumb or even pulling at your hair. It's a very, very interesting time to also see how you jeopardize your perfection as well. If you claw at your skin, if you pluck your eyebrows too much, if you get nervous in public, if you don't want to know, don't want to see what people are up to, if you're closing your eyes, if you can't take something in your life, if you don't want to face your body, and if you don't want to face your mind, during this time, before the 15th of May, please regard very carefully where are those little glitches and just pull them out now. You don't need those things. It's a very, very perfect time to unteach people things, unteach yourself, steer yourself away from nervousness or bad habits and unenlightened behavior. And also, yeah, those of us with kids, please have a look what they're up to. Have a look at how they're spending their time. Are they watching too much TV? Do they have an addiction to video game or even worse? Please have a look as to how you can help yourself unteach and unclog and unclutter your Mars before it swings into the unforgiving, strong, deep, and purging sign of Cancer. It is not that easy in Cancer. Mars in Cancer is hard. So by now you need to realize, okay, say like I overdo it, all right, so I like do too much too quickly, or I can't sleep at night. Please take these methods. Take these methods now. You don't sleep, take melatonin. Have a bath before bed. Say, for example, you purge on food. Binge on food. You binge on food, then perhaps it's not really good. Maybe it's better to narrow down the ingredients you have in your fridge, and if you are binging, at least binge on herbs or maybe fruit or juices. There is something about you that perhaps already is coming up to the surface in terms of what needs to be healed, what needs to be treated with kindness, and what needs to be fixed and done. And also, yeah, for those of us with children, those of us with family members that are perhaps also ready to pass on to the other side, or those of us that have any kind of neurosis or sensitivity in the home, what a good feeling and looking and stabilizing time to really get those things in perspective and to help feel into the situation, greater connectivity and greater mind. So how you deal with chores at home, what you're doing with your parents, how you're looking after your grandparents, what are the things that your children are doing, what are those rhythms in your life. In Cancer, Mars can be harsh. In Cancer, Mars can be hard, and it can actually be cruel and grueling. So it's one of those really, really beautiful times to actually take a look at your sensitivity and overprotectiveness and over paranoia and your fear of yourself and how you see your home, how you see your body, how you see your world, even how you see this planet, and start planting those very easy to grow seeds now before we swing right into the middle of Cancer Mars, simply because um, sometime before June, because holy cow, it is so difficult to hold on to the reins and to control what you're feeling, thinking, and doing unless you have a nice balance. So for now, I mean, I'm doing a detox. I'm starting to detox and exercise. It is not good for everyone, but it is nice for me because I'm reviving my previous patterns. We're doing patterns here in May. So May is accentuating us with a love or even a lust for the archaic and the old. And we can revive some old issues here as well. It feels to me that if you want to, you probably need to organize or bring into your world something that will really help you feel placid and contained and protected and connected during Mars and Cancer, as this is a grueling time. If you had a dis-ease, it'll probably surface, and it's also starting to surface right about now for many of us, as to what that maybe mental illness or that physical ailment could be. And also, yeah, for those of us that don't probably have any mental issues or physical ones, there is something else surfacing. So, for example, accounts that are not paid, the state of your financial issues, what your parents really feel about you, what you feel about your kids, how your children are behaving, what are the different aspects of your life. And all of this can be a huge whirlwind of energy, as we've got a quickening here with this incredible Mercury, Venus. I mean, we've got a real like amazing feeling. Also, with this Jupiter opposed to Mars, as everything is going to be now for some of us. There needs to be pace, and there needs to be respect, and there needs to be closure, and there needs to be elegance. Elegance, Mars Cancer, the best for elegance. Elegance and control that is unconscious control. This is where yoga really comes handy. This is where meditation comes in handy. This is where maturity is really seen and pace is understood. And the phenomena, also, yeah, with this Mars opposing Saturn and Pluto, with the phenomena of gorgeousness, the phenomena of real love, the phenomena of purity, the phenomena of grace, they really get finessed during this time. The eternity of the now, the eternity of taste, culture, and style, that can all be really well placed during this particular month. Months actually, May, June, July, if you can bring yourself to that level of perfection, understanding, mature reflection, and grace yourself. And that's where this is difficult, And yeah, almost everyone will have things happen as if by itself, almost each one of us will have something just land on our lap, in these particular months with Jupiter and Sagittarius. But how you take care of things, how you walk, how you talk, how you bring yourself up, how you stimulate your senses, how you speak to your child, how you give back, what you are like feeling and wishing for, and the biggest, most soulful feelings, those biggest, most beautiful, soulful energies are really coming true. They're coming together. And those of us that can actually be as mature and as graceful and as confident also and as loving as we can be, these people will start to take a stand, and perhaps political careers are going to be open for people that have that grace about them. Hospitality placings, Cancer, Mars, anything to do with nurture nature, the pathways of this planet, the future of the world, the sculpting of the now. This is going to all start to come back. So, for example, if you never thought that your ancestral pride or your ancestral skills would be noticed, and I've talked about this a lot with Pagir forecasts, there are lots of ways in which you can bring it together now. If you never really understood the context of your art or your mind, or how you can be together with people organically, not hidden by religion or dogma or ideas, this is beautiful. It's like where you truly are and where you feel surprisingly calm. I mean, this is all coming together for you. The thing here is just not to obstruct yourself with nervousness, neurosis, trying to be in control, trying to impact others, being unconfident, being awkward, or being kind of like well-to-do, but yet at the same time suffering and struggling as well. And also, yeah, those of us that have struggled all our lives and that have had, like, say, mental issues, or some kind of sadness or dark capacities in our families, or also dis-ease or disfigurement, these things are going to come through, and these have to be faced now. Wars, predators, all of those dark things, I believe, are going to be much easier to face as you let these things come through without pushing onto them as well. So it's like a thoughtful purge. It's not a ginormous, gigantic energy here. Too much violence or too much anger or too strong a detox at this point in time can bring about darkness and negative change. So there needs to be a graceful, kind, connected through space and time to this planet and many others feeling. It's like, I'm connected, so I'm doing this out of the greatest whole of all things. I'm not just going to say publish a book. I'm going to give this as a present, for all things. I'm not just going to, start painting. I'm going to give this in service as a guide. So some of us people will be becoming heroes, national, social, even romantic heroes during this time. But by the end of this transit, by the end, when we hit July, stop and witness it just take its own turn. And yeah, here we have this amazing Mars in a Leo that doesn't wait for anybody. And it's not really about what you have to say anymore. It's about the conduct and the full picture of life. And again, we have choices made not by us, seemingly, but by the planet or by other beings. And we have many, many opportunities and doors opening and closing as a response to how you have lived your life. So get your matters together, get your life sorted. If you can, detox. If you don't want to, that's okay. But please bring yourself up to a greater, more positive, opportune self. So thank you very much. I hope this has been interesting for you. Okay, if you'd like a reading, you can have a reading. I'm at this point in Mexico, yes. I've also got Unleash the Beast, the book reviewed. And I'll post all the links below. And I now have a store. I am now again doing, I suppose, art, which is what I've done since I was a baby. So if you'd like to have a look at my store, please have a look. And yes, I would like to help you with your visionary work and your projects and your family, everything like that. So I'm open now. And yes, please also take a look at my music. Some stuff that I'm working on at the moment. And yes, Instagram and Facebook for all the latest. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.